Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters, and welcome back to game number 2 between the red Terran player, EmpireKas, and the blue Protoss player, oGsMC. This is game, I did say it was game 2, right? Yes, believe I did. And this is PGL Milncraft here from ProGamingLeagues.com. And let's just talk about the previous game a little bit. That was actually, as we saw from the units lost tab, it was the same amount of resources lost for both EmpireKas and oGsMC. And on top of that, EmpireKas did have a bunker defending himself at the end. It just showed, oGsMC first of all showed MC rather. He's not a she, he is in fact a C. And fun fact, his initials MC, his name MC. OGS is his clan, old generations, but his initials MC is actually like his real initials. His name is Minchul, and so that's what it stands for. So he is a male, he's not an MC, but he's, I don't know. Well, anyway, we should go ahead and just say that his force field placement was absolutely perfectly placed so that to trap in all of EmpireKas' units and prevent them from coming from being able to run up the top after slowing down MC's units. So EmpireKas needed a better spread there. And also, EmpireKas wasn't able to send any SCVs to repair. Now, that doesn't mean that he necessarily would have won the fight, because the force fields actually could have blocked the SCVs from repairing. But it was absolutely a terrific timing push on the part of MC. It's relatively rare that you see someone like respond after losing an aggression battle. Normally you don't counterattack like that, so maybe Kas wasn't used to it, which is why he started the second bunker so much later. It wasn't until after he really saw the pylon building with his SCV, which he did see the probe go in, so that was kind of his suspicion that, maybe a probe went by, placed a pylon, and then decided that it wanted to go scout to see where his forces were. And so that was probably his suspicion, which is why he sent the probe in. Did what he did, and it wasn't enough. He ended up being taken out, so that was the end of that. And he is actually building a tech lab before his first Marine. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start talking about this game then. This map is Tal'Darim Altar, a very large map, 4 watchtowers. If you look on the mini-map down there, 4 watchtowers in the middle, which give basically vision of all of the areas that you travel in. It is a 4-player map, and you basically have 2 protected expansions. This one, which is a full 8 minerals and 2 gases, and then this expansion, this is the version, with the rocks in the middle, but this is a full expansion here as well after you destroy the rocks. And so you get 2 full expansions. It lets you, expand fairly safely. EmpireKas is in fact doing a Marauder expand, I would say. Yeah, that looks to be the build that he's doing. He's only getting 1 gas. He hasn't gotten a second barrack, so he's not doing any sort of pressure. He might try to move out and attack. And then that is going to get spotted, though. His probe is going to get away because slow is not quite done yet. And Marauders aren't particularly fast. They've got a big giant suit, so it's not particularly... it's not easy to run on those things. If you hate running anyway, and then all of a sudden you have to get... I'm sure it's a big guy, right, that they get for these suits. And so, he has to run in these suits. He's already a big guy, probably doesn't like running that much, and then they get him, you gotta run with this extra 200 pounds of equipment on you. I wouldn't really want to do that much. So Marauders have to rely mostly on their concussive shells, slowing down their opponents to be able to catch him. And we do see that Kas is in fact doing 1 Rax Marauder expand. Very safe, well, not very safe I would say, because you only have 1 barracks, but it's relatively safe against most kinds of early aggression. And with the exception of a Void Ray all-in, it basically auto-loses to that because, as you see, Kas hasn't even gotten a single Marine. And, you need 4 or 5 Marines, sometimes a bunker, depending on, kind of control and placement to be able to defeat a Void Ray rush. MC isn't doing that, though. He is going for a 3-gateway expand. It's actually the same build that he did in the previous game, which makes sense. It worked in the previous game, so you might as well try it again. And actually, Kas is in fact getting both Stim Pack, which is going to be very useful for when MC ends up moving out, and extra Marauders out of his barracks, and 2 additional barracks. So he's not being too greedy or anything by doing a fast expansion and then teching up. I've seen many Terran players lose by doing that. Because both teching up and expanding leave you temporarily vulnerable, and so it's good to be able to eliminate those. And that was good taking him up below. He got to the top of the ramp so that MC wasn't really able to spot what was guarding the top of the ramp, and he's building a bunker as well. He's building a little bit farther back. I think that's so force fields are less effective. If he built it right on the corner there, then a couple of force fields would really be able to block out all of the SCVs from repairing. This way he has to force field all around it to be able to stop them from repairing. It also just kind of guards against both sides of a run by in those circumstances. Looks like MC is going to move in here. 4 Marauders, I think, should be enough to hold this out, especially since the bunker's going to build as well. And it looks like he's just actually moving around the Zealot. Nice focus firing from MC, though, is in fact going to be able to take out 2 of those Marauders, and the last Marauder is going to want to start running with the Zealot just like that. And he's going to just move into the bunker, and that's also going to be taken out as well. Nice control from EmpireKas and from MC, actually, as well. He was able to spot the expansion just to make sure he knew what build his opponent was going, although he did suspect it, and Stimpack is going to finish, which should stop any sort of aggression from MC. So MC is going to be a little bit behind now as a result of that, a little bit of aggression. But he does have a lot of sentries. 6 sentries typically is about the number that Protoss players go for if they're going for kind of a somewhat sentry-focused build. And it, really lets him accumulate a lot of force fields. He's actually got 7 now, which is a lot of sentries. Very effective, as we saw in the previous game, against all sorts of bio. Lets them, especially with Stim, stops them from, being able to cut your Zealots. Now, Kas is moving out with these forces. I think he's just taking the watchtower. Yeah, he is. I was going to say, I don't think he should move up. Definitely not move up into the ramp. That was way not enough forces to be able to do that. And Kas should know that, that those are not going to be enough forces. It's not, it's not even, really close in that regard to, what kind of force you're going to need to be able to take on an opponent's army at that point in the game. Even with the somewhat favorable engagement he just had with MC. MC hasn't got his second gases yet, which is somewhat curious because Protoss tend to be a very gas-heavy race. Oh, it looks like he's going for a very heavy gateway build, and that's the reason why I think he's going for, well, an MC-style push is what this is typically called, which is a 2-gate, 2-base, 6-gate attack, where you get a bunch of sentries, which is getting 2 more now. I spent all the extra gas that he had, so he's got 10 sentries, and then he's going to get a bunch of zealots, and what he's going to do is just force field around any of the bunkers that are defending the base. This is a lot of Marines and Marauders, though. If their place is spread out enough so they don't all get force fielded together, then I think Kas would be in good shape. But anyway, the idea is to break bunkers by force fielding around them with this many sentries, and then you get a bunch of zealots to tear through the bunkers as well, and then Stalker shooting from behind. Looks like Kas is going to stim a Marine, and then see that army and hightail it out of there. He knows that he's not going to be able to defeat that, which is going to trigger MC to push out. Now, if Kas's units get a little bit caught behind, the force fields are going to be able to kill them. Oh, and he's going to want to keep retreating. Oh, no. Oh, perfect at force fields from... Oh, no. Absolutely. This is horrible. Perfect force fields from MC. Absolutely sliced apart half of EmpireKas' army. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here. He needs not just one bunker. He needs a lot of bunkers to be able to stop this aggression coming in now. He was just a little bit too aggressive with that army. He didn't keep it running. He just told it to move halfway and assumed MC wouldn't follow. And MC ended up following, which he saw it follow. So, I mean, it was just a, I guess you could call it a misclick. He's got 2 more bunkers coming up. He needs to pull his SCVs now, though, because it's not, I don't know if this is going to be enough here. Force fields are stopping any repair now. And it looks like that first bunker is going to get taken out. And nice force fields are separating the army pretty well. Nice pickup from Kas, going to save a couple of his forces, however. And it looks like MC is just going to kind of slowly move in here. It remains to be seen how effective it's going to be. Almost all the zealots have been taken out already, and a couple of the have been taken out as well. And Kas still has a lot of forces up, but that's a lot of stalkers on MC's part as well. Those force fields have been very effective in keeping Kas's forces separated. You can see that a lot of his forces are bouncing around in the back and not firing, and that's a lot. Look at all those stalkers blasting apart these units. I think Kas is in a lot of trouble, and I think he's just dead at this point. Look at that. Oh, wow. Took out another one. And is he going to be... Oh, it looks like he's just going to take out the supply depots, wait for another warp in, and then he's going to move in and go in for the kill. We see the rest of Kas's SCVs moving up. Force fields to be able to stop most of those. Not quite all of those. Let's be able to get around those force fields. But nice kiting from MC and nice control. I guess that was just auto attack. And looks like almost all these SCVs have been taken out. And MC able to win that game. And that's the danger of pushing out with your army. You know, sometimes it's a good idea to push out. But I don't know. I think Kas should have recognized that he probably did a more aggressive expansion than MC. He might have, been guessing at the time, so didn't know if he was really ahead. But that's why he decided to push out, just to see if MC was getting a little aggressive by attacking straight to Colossus or something, and seeing if he could do some real damage right there by killing centuries early, which is the Terran's goal typically when doing any sort of kind of early or mid-game aggression at that point. But it just wasn't effective enough, and then he just ordered his forces to move here instead of moving all the way back to base. They stopped for those 2 or 3 seconds or whatever it was, and then the force fields, and then that was all she wrote. MC showed his style with the MC style push rather, and he showed why it's his namesake and why he's so good with it, and able to defeat EmpireKas in 2 games. Really terrific games. I really enjoyed watching these players play, and I hope to see more of these games in the future. Looks like the rally points were a little off there. Or maybe they were just building as the game ended, and then as MC continued, then they just kind of sat in place because EmpireKas was no longer in the game. But either way, very terrific game. Really enjoyed watching these, and this is PGL Minecraft signing out.